Good morning, everybody. Claudia from the We Garden Homestead here. It is a bright, sunshiny day here in Southwest Florida. Uh, we are in Zone 9B, South Florida, and today is May 6th, first Saturday. So I'm going to do my May first Saturday garden tour. I know I missed April. A lot of crazy stuff going on, but I want to get back on track. So I'm starting here at the north end of the garden. This is where I have the Seminole pumpkins. And I'm going to turn the phone around and the camera around and get you going on that. Okay, so these are my Seminole pumpkins. That's a 5-gallon bucket in the middle. We've been using that to water them because the hose won't come out here all the way. We took the fencing down a couple times and the chickens got in there and dug up the roots really bad. And as you can see, I mean, it's 11 o'clock this morning and it's already been watered and it's still wilting in the heat. We really need our summer rains to get going. I do have some pumpkins on it though. I have one, see if I can find them all again. One nice big one right there. This is 1x2 wire, so it kind of gives you an idea of the size. Probably close to as big as it's going to get. They don't get super big, but they're great for eating. So as I go around here, now the chickens don't bother out here, but they dug up where all that fresh dirt was. So I've got one right here also. That one's a nice one. In past years, oh, look, there's one in there I didn't even see. Woohoo! So what is that, 3? Let's see. I've got one right here. 4. And I think I've got one right here. 5. And I thought I saw one over here the other day. Oh, there we go. 6. So I have, it looks like, 6. I did not hand pollinate these this year. This was all the bees. I'm totally thrilled with it. We're going to take a walk across the yard because this is the farthest point from the house or close to it. And like I said, the hose doesn't reach out here this year. We broke one of our hoses and just haven't gotten another one yet. So we've been using that bucket. We fill a bucket, we come out, we dump it in there. It's got some holes in the bottom of it. It drains through and it waters them pretty well. It is just so dry out here this year. The grass even crunches. So we're just waiting for those summer rains to start and these pumpkins will really take off. All right, here we go. This is our melon patch. And this was an experiment this year. I got them in a little late for us here to grow melons, but they're shaded most of the day. They get a little noontime sun and then they're shaded again in the afternoon. So when this watermelon went in, it actually had that melon on it. It's growing all funny. I don't think it got pollinated properly, but I'm going to leave it go because, you know, it's better than nothing. So I have the one watermelon came up and then I have cantaloupe here, cantaloupe there. The chickens got in here one day and dug up the roots, so I did lose one. And then I've got this big cantaloupe plant here. Now this is on the outside of the garden, so we fenced it to keep the chickens out. And, you know, it doesn't always work, but we try. And I thought I saw a melon up in here last night, but I don't see it now. But I'm hoping to get some production out of this. Like I said, it is a little late in the year for us to just be starting melons. May, it's already in the 90s, but I got them started late and they went in and we're going to give it a try. All right, here's the gate you all know and love. We're walking into the main garden now. The last couple ones I've done to the left, I've got some shade cloth on the ground there that I need to pick up. So as I go to the left, these nasturtiums are about done. I've got to pull them out. These were the last set of onions I put in, and they have just now started to bulb, which is fine. I'm going to let them go. These were ones I found last minute at Walmart starts. So I put them in. They are sweet onions, white sweet onions, yellow sweet onions, something like that. I'm going to let them go. We'll see. Hopefully we get something out of them. The other nasturtium is dead. This nightmare. This is what happens in South Florida when we hit the 90s. The tomatoes are just, they're about done. It's just about time to take them out. We've got a couple along the edge here that have just come out. I'm going to wait and see if I can get them to get big and ripen. Looks like they're ripening pretty small. It's time to take these tomatoes out. We'll pull them out. We'll cover the bed and burn it off with the summer sunshine and heat. So this was onions. This was onions. I've got 2, and then I've got 1 more on the other side, but these are avocados, so I started from seed. The dragon fruit is struggling. Little sweeties, these are yellow little sweet lunchbox peppers. They're blooming very nicely. I know there's one in there, I can't find it now, but there's a couple that have set fruit already. We're getting there. Another dying tomato. I'm going to put some basil in here. This was all onions. This is going to be basil. Get that bug out of there. This is all going to be basil. Looks like Salty's been watering it, so that's a good thing. I've got 1 more avocado under here, so it's not in the bright sunshine yet. It's hard to see. And then I've got 2 Cowhorn cayenne peppers. Those are hot cayennes, so they are labeled hot because the grandbaby likes to come out and pick peppers and eat them. Rosemary's still doing really well. We'll go around and come back. Belle's in the cooler this year, and they are doing gorgeous. They get a lot of shade here. Not too terribly much, but quite a bit of shade. This is my most beautiful ever. This was my 4th try with Kajari melons. I saw Jess do them and on Roots and Refuge, and I've got a couple melons in there. I've got 2 big ones. There's another one right there. I've got a smallish one right there. I've got one that is like totally deformed. I don't even know what's going on with that one, but I'm going to let it go. And then there's a bunch of little teeny tiny ones that are hard to find. I did put some okra seeds in the front of this, and in just a minute you'll see why. These are just coming up here, here, and here. I've got a couple different kinds of sweet peppers here. Cubanelle, these are all 3 starting to bloom. Cubanelles, Sweet Goliath hybrid bell, that's a big bell, and some sweet cayennes. And these are shaped like cayennes. They're usually about 8 to 10 inches long. They turn red, but they are a sweet pepper. They're really good for frying. And then I have more bells. These were, believe it or not, these were seeds. All these bells out here, the regular bells, were seeds from bell peppers I got at my local farm store. It's like a farmer's market butcher shop. They grow beautifully, and I am not the least bit disappointed in them. I did try to do 1 more round of tomatoes before it got too hot. So I have these 2 big, beautiful bush beefsteaks. They are loaded with tomatoes already. So I've got my fingers crossed. I have 2 here, and I have 2 actually in the garden. The salad table is on its last legs, blooming. Then I've got the shallots need to come up. Mint, bee balm. This cherry tomato is done. This was my last, from winter, my last bush beefsteak. That's pretty much done. I've got a couple of Rosalitas over here. These are a really nice sweet grape tomato. And for whatever reason, I didn't have any make it in the ground in the winter for my winter crops. So these are hopefully going to do okay. Usually the grape tomatoes, the smaller tomatoes, do okay in the heat. As long as they still set fruit, which they have a ton of fruit on them now. As long as they still set fruit, I'll leave them in. Then I have 2 more. Got some broccoli coming down out there. It's done. The broccoli's done. I've got 2 more of those beefsteaks here. I've got my Vigo bed that I've been working on filling. I've got some dirt in the carport that needs to go in it too. Whatever these were, sweet, they're done. The onions have got to come out. Those were Egyptian walking onions. They never walked for me, but I've got to get all the peppers out of this. I've got to get everything out of this so I can get this one covered up and burned off too. These peach peppers are doing pretty well. We're not big on hot peppers, and honestly, these weren't as hot as I thought they were going to be, and that's okay. So around the back here, I did pull all of the red onions that were here, the red sweet onions that were here. They are very good. We're eating them. We've been eating them lately. And then I have all of these. Let me see if I can turn this a little bit. And I have all of these, what were these called? These were the ones that y'all watched me, that we planted together. The Texas 1015 Texas Super Sweet. These were the ones that I ordered from Texas as starts. They are doing really well. They're starting to fall over. When they fall over like this, it's time to pull them. Let's see if I can get in on that. When they fall over like that, it's time to dig them out. So that'll probably be my project tomorrow. I'm going to go back around. Like I said, this broccoli, I'm amazed it is still producing these small florets. I've still been out here picking it. Salty's been pulling the leaves and feeding them to the chickens, which, you know, that's fine. They love them. Couple sunflowers. Let's see what we got here. Okay, this okra. This okra went in when the cabbage came out. I'm not very pleased with how it's doing. It's just not doing as well as we've had okra do before. We've always grown okra almost in clumps, and I don't know if that's it or if this bed has gone bad. We do have problems with the root knot nematodes, so that could be it. But I did plant more, and you saw some of it just a minute ago, and then I've got more I'll show you in just a minute. Shade cloth still laying on the ground there. At some point, it's going to go back up. We just pulled it down a little while ago, hoping that okra would take off. More broccoli. Like I said, still harvesting heads. Beautiful. And then as I go around the corner, I've got one. This is a cucumber. It is in a, I think it's a 3-gallon pot, which is really too small. It's 2 plants, but it is producing. Look at that gorgeous cucumber there. I've got 2 in the fridge I picked the other day. So, yeah, we're doing good. Then on the arch, I have the Trombacino. Please forgive the weeds. Just haven't been out here. It's too hot to do anything about it. The Trombacino squash. I think that's the name of it. I got it at Baker Creek. We absolutely love this. We cook it like zucchini. There's only seeds down here in the bottom, and if you get them young enough, there's not even seeds in the bottom yet. So from here down might have seeds. If you eat it like this, young like this, it's like zucchini. From what I understand, if you let it go completely ripe, this one's gorgeous. If you let it go, this one probably has some seeds in it, but they're not fully ripened yet. So if you let it go completely ripe, then it's more like a butternut squash, and it'll keep like a winter squash. So that is it for inside the garden today. I have one more thing to show you. All right, so this little bed is, I don't know, it's like 2 by 3 probably. And this is more okra coming up. We grow emerald okra. We've always done really well with it here. I've got most of them came up. I've got one in the corner there and one right there that still needs to come up. It's so bright out I can't see. I can't see what I'm doing. So anyway, that's going to be okra. It's a little it's a little closer together than what is recommended, but like I said, we've always done really well with it clumped together. This particular bed had a 4x4 in it that was holding up shade cloth. This one and one across the way. Hurricane, what's his name? Ian blew the roof off of our pump house, and it took out the crossbar that went between these 2 beds. So no shade cloth on this end anymore. I think the okra will do really well here. All right, y'all. I had to move to the shade. I had to take my phone in for a few minutes. My camera wouldn't work. It was too hot. Hopefully that last little bit with the okra came out. So this was my garden tour, my first Saturday garden tour for May. Hopefully I can stay on track after this. Life has just been crazy lately. Sometimes that happens. And stay tuned. We did pick a lot of blueberries. I got blueberry Venice coming up. I've got all kinds of stuff coming up. So stay tuned. Thanks for joining.